Today, Baba is talking about manners, and Baba says that Baba teaches us this is a school, and we are learning manners here. And when we hear the word manners, we usually think about, the habit, the physical habits that we have, how we eat or whether we are punctual or not, disciplined or not. And these are the manners: punctuality, regularity, discipline, obedience. These are the manners that we learn in school. And Baba says that I am God and I come to teach you manners. And there are certain manners which only Baba can teach us and nobody else. And Baba says, I teach you the manners of purity. So these are divine manners. So Baba says that I teach you the manners of purity which nobody else teaches you. And it is so interesting that, yes, if you check all through this physical life that we lead, nobody ever tells us that while living in the household you become pure. Yes, or even this, this knowledge of what is purity and what is impurity, we don't have. So, did we ever think that, while living in the household, I have to be free from lust, anger, ego, attachment, and greed? We never thought like that. That thought also didn't cross our minds. And Baba says, you know why Baba is called the one who changes us from human to divine? Because, in this world, when we talk about a good human being, we never talk about somebody who is viceless. Yes, so I remember there was this one Mata, and she had come, and she was an activist in the world, and I asked her, what is your aim of coming here? What do you want to become? Then she said, I just want to be a good human being. So I said, define that. What's a good human being? So then she said, good human being, what is there to define in it? So I said, okay, so will that good human being never get angry? So she said, yes, we should control our anger. And then I said, what if some wrong is done to you and then you don't get angry? Is that good human being? So she said, no, definitely not. We have to get angry when something wrong is done. Or, so then I said, okay, and what about ego? So she said, ego is very bad. But then I said, okay, but then you have to have a sense of, that I'm great and I'm worthy, and that has to come from whatever you have achieved in life. So she said, of course, you have to have self-respect. And so you see that and last, of course, I didn't even talk about it, because that nobody can even, go to that length of thinking that you have to be lust free. So we never think about, so we always talk about being good or being human or having humanity in ourselves, but then we never think about, not being, we never think about becoming pure, or we don't even, this concept of being viceless also doesn't exist until Baba comes. So, and even when you talk about people who are on the path of bhakti, they never talk about being pure in a marriage, or while living in the household, practicing celibacy, or they don't talk about becoming free from anger. In fact, in Bharat, it is very well known that all the sadhus, mahatmas get very angry. And then, they are famous for cursing. So everybody's afraid that if they got angry and cursed you, then you will be doomed. Yes. And I remember there was this one person, and very new in Gyan, they had just come and attended some classes. And then this brother, he told me that I'm always cautious that you shouldn't dislike anything I do, or you shouldn't get, angry about something. So I said, why will I get angry? Whatever you do is your business. So then he said, no, but if you don't like something, then you will not give good wishes. So I said, if I don't give good wishes, then I shouldn't be sitting here. I will always give good wishes, whatever you do. You doing something will cost you, not me. And it's not about getting good wishes from me by doing something good. Of course, when you follow Srimad, when we instruments, we see that you are following Srimad, then you earn blessings. Of course, you get a lot of blessings because our heart goes to you. But that is not, it's not like if you're not doing something, we will curse you. No, if I have the ability to curse, I don't I don't deserve to be sitting here. So then you see that Baba gives us this clarity. Baba tells us that, while living in the household, you have to be free from vices. And this is not something we are given as a aim in any path or anywhere. And Baba says, this is why I come and change you into a deity. Because what is the difference between a human and a deity? So, there are good human beings also. But whenever somebody is a good human being, you don't expect them to be viceless. So, we say, and there is this saying that to err is human and to forgive divine. So when you are human, even if you're a very good human being, you are expected to make mistakes. You are not perfect, you are not accurate, you are not viceless. So Baba teaches us that, you have to be, despite, and especially in devotion, we are taught that if you are a woman, you cannot have great spiritual attainment. And then if you are a grihasthi, if you are living in the household, then forget about being spiritual. You can just worship those who are spiritual. You cannot be spiritual yourself. So do you know these things, that in devotion you are? So I know of certain religions where they say that if you are in a female body, then you cannot attain salvation. Okay, whatever their idea of salvation is. So you cannot attain salvation if you're in a female body. So what you do is, you do a lot of spiritual effort, and then you get a male body next birth. Okay, you will be born as a male. And then in that male body, you make effort, and then you will get salvation. Okay, so these are the belief systems in the world. And then if you are a householder, if you are somebody who is married and has children, and you are a grihasthi, then you can never even think about, being spiritual, or you can just serve those who are spiritual. You can just, donate something, or make your fortune by donating to those who are ascetics and sadhus and gurus. So this is the thing. You cannot even think about getting salvation yourself. So these are the things that are taught to us in bhakti. And then, Baba comes and Baba says that, no, you are a soul and your nature is purity, and whatever body you are in, whatever is the gender of the body, or whatever is your physical context, whether you are married, unmarried, you are a householder, or you are, you are a Kumar or a Kumari, doesn't matter. Baba says, if you just did this one thing, If you stayed pure, if you became viceless, if you won over your vices, then you can attain mukti and jivan mukti. You can go with me to the sweet home, and then you can come and rule in the world of happiness. So Baba tells us these things, and this is why Baba is the only one who teaches you purity as a divine manner. And Baba says that I am the one who shows you the path to purity. And what is the path to purity? The path to purity is knowledge and yoga. Yes, so the path to purity is knowledge and yoga. So, first is Baba awakens our consciousness by giving us knowledge that your original nature is purity, and that for the first half of the cycle you are completely viceless. And this knowledge we didn't have. So this is why Baba is the one who teaches us the manners of purity. Because without the power of knowledge, you cannot become pure. And without becoming pure, you cannot go to the world of purity. So there are two worlds of purity. The sweet home is a world of purity, and then the new world, heaven, is a world of purity. And Baba says, how do you go to that world? First, by knowing that your nature is purity. So, and you see that in this whole world, you look at anybody, any religion, any philosophy, any theory, they will always tell you that your primary instinct is vice. So nobody will tell you that your original design is purity. Yes, so this is the knowledge that Baba gives us. And this is a very profound knowledge, because in the world, people, nobody, no path, nobody believes that your original nature is purity and that you became impure later. So Baba gives us this knowledge that I'm by design, I'm pure. Impurity is not a need. Yes, so impurity is a habit. So do you understand that? So you see that habits are called second nature. And Baba says that from the copper age, you develop this habit of impurity, impure thought, word, and act. You came into action, you came into impure action, and then when you repeated that action, it became a habit. So Baba says that impurity is an acquired sanskar. It's not your original sanskar. And then Baba says, you become soul conscious. And becoming soul conscious means emerging the original sanskars of the soul and sitting in the experience that you are a soul in your original sanskars. So, when you are soul conscious, so although, right now there are acquired sanskars also in the soul. Of course, those sanskars are also embedded in the soul right now. But Baba says that you have to understand that you are not your acquired sanskars, just like you're not your body, just like you're not your bodily context, you are not your acquired sanskars also. You are a being of pure, peaceful light. And that is the practice that enables us to get in touch with our purity again. So as much as you take Baba's knowledge, sit with it and become an embodiment of that knowledge, the purity, the sanskar of purity will emerge. And then second thing Baba tells us is that, you lived 2,500 years in a world of, viceless world. So you lived as a householder, you had children, and you went to work, and there was this whole machinery of life that was operating in the new world, and there was no vice. Yes, so children went to school, and you gave birth, and then you operated in the society, and then there was no need for lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed. So Baba says, just go to that world mentally. Just try to remember how you lived in that world for 2500 years. What was the culture that we practiced? And you see that everything is a habit. If you, the most wonderful thing that I learned in knowledge is everything is a habit. So we have created habits, and now we have to change those habits. And there's a very simple formula: whatever you do repeatedly becomes a habit. So you see, these days when nobody listens to us, then what do? We shout, and still they don't listen to us. But we shout, not because it makes them listen to us, but because it's a habit. Yes, and then it's your habit. So you are doing it out of your habit. It has got nothing to do with the consequence. And even if somebody listens to you temporarily, you know that they are not listening to you because they agree with you, or you have forced them. But how long can you force them? And you learn eventually that you can't go after somebody all the time, and you can't keep a watch on them all the time. So then you understand that all of this shouting, all of this, worrying, all of this stressing, all of this, attachment, everything is a habit. And the original design is not like this. So you see, if you're very attached to somebody, they don't live longer because you are more attached to them, or they don't start doing what you want them to do because you're attached to them. It's just that you get hurt more. Everybody is anyways leading their own life and doing whatever they want to do. So Baba says that I come and teach you that in Satyug, you had a family, you went to work, there was a whole kingdom being operated, but there was no vice. And you have to sit with these thoughts and emerge the purity that's latent in you. You have operated in purity for 2500 years, and that sanskar will emerge when you sit with this idea of how I was in heaven. And so Baba says, I give you the knowledge of purity, and then I give you an example. So, at least two examples Baba has given us, Mama and Baba. So, how living in this old world, they embraced purity. So, they engaged in selfless actions. They engaged in, pure actions while living in this world. So we got a glimpse of, what purity in action feels like through Mama and Baba's life. And Baba says, one method of becoming pure is follow Mama, Baba. So Baba says, Baba was a householder, and then Mama was a Kumari Kanya, and both became an embodiment of purity in their life. And Baba says, just look at what a pure life looks like in this world. So, Brahma Baba had everything. Brahma Baba had experience. Brahma Baba had wealth. Brahma Baba had, resources. And what did Brahma Baba do? Brahma Baba used just it for world service. Brahma Baba did not use it for any sense of I and mine. And it's not like Brahma Baba left his family. So Brahma Baba kept everybody. Whoever didn't agree with him, they left him. So Brahma Baba never asked anybody to leave. Did Brahma Baba ask anybody to leave? Even his son, Brahma Baba didn't say, you leave me. Brahma Baba just adopted, whatever Baba said. Brahma Baba followed Srimad. And then there were people who stayed, there were people who left. But Brahma Baba didn't leave anybody. Brahma Baba always, made sure that everybody received spiritual and physical sustenance. So even when, whether it is his Lokik family or anybody, Brahma Baba made sure that, the service is done. So everybody receives sustenance. So Baba says, what is a pure life? A pure life is a life where every action is devoted to service. Yes, and Baba says that, Brahma Baba became an embodiment of that seva. And then Mama was a Kumari. Mama didn't have resources, but physical resources, but Mama had buddhi, Mama had, the power of speech, Mama had time, energy. And then Mama also used all of that for world service. Yes, even on the last day, when Mama was suffering from, so much of physical pain, we wouldn't use even suffering, but there was physical pain. But of course, there was no suffering because in Baba's remembrance, Mama gave grapes to every child, with Baba's remembrance, even on the last day. So Baba says this is the sign of purity. So when you want to be pure, follow Mama Baba. When you want to be pure, sit in soul consciousness. When you want to be pure, sit in awareness of your 2500 years of purity. And Baba says, I am the one who makes you pure like this. And Baba says, I teach you unlimited renunciation. Baba says, in the world, when people want to become pure, then what do? First thing they do is leave their home. Yes, and why do they do that? Because the simple reason is they blame their sanskar of impurity on the other. Yes, so they are saying, do you know that in India there are temples where women are not allowed to enter? Yes, because it is said that if women enter the temple, then they will be distracting the devotees, and the devotees won't be able to focus on God. So just think about, these belief systems that you are blaming your own sanskar on somebody else. And this is why, in bhakti, what they do when they want to be pure, they run away from home because they think that the wife is the problem, the children are the problem. So the wife is the one triggering lust, the children are the ones triggering attachment. And they say very clearly, Nari Nark ka dwar hai, the woman is the door to hell. Why? Because they say that if the woman is not there, then there would be no lust in the man. But Baba says, no. Baba says, your lust, anger, ego, attachment, greed is your problem. You have created that habit and that's your sanskar. And running away from anybody is not the solution. And Baba says, I teach you not limited disinterest. So, what is the language of limited disinterest? The language of limited disinterest is everybody is bad, so leave them. Yes, so the language of limited disinterest. So that is why, in Sannyas Dharma it is said, in this world there is very temporary happiness. The sukh kaag vishtha saman hai. So they say that the happiness of this world is like droppings of a crow. So that is why, or the woman is the problem, or the relationships are the problem. So the world is bad. So leave the world. Yes, so leave, or especially, not the world as such, but the woman and the house and the grihast is the problem. But Baba tells us that, your sanskars are the problem. So Baba says you have to So you have to leave your vices. And you should know that even this body, this whole world is right now in its depleted state. So Baba says, don't have attachment to anything. Baba says the world is not the problem, the attachment is the problem. So when you remove your buddhi yoga from the matters of the world, the bodies, relations, everything of the world, so you may stay in the world, but then if you remove your intellect by understanding that everything in this world is tamo pradhan, it is not going to serve you for any better, then you don't have attachment to it. So the world is not the problem. You cannot run away from the world. You have to play your part in the world. Your attachment is the problem. Your sense of I and mine with this old world is the problem. So when you understand that I am a soul and mine is one Baba and none other, that is unlimited disinterest. And Baba says, through this you become pure. Through this you imbibe soul consciousness, go to, your memory of 2500 years in your world of purity, follow Baba Mama, understand that this is your alokik family that Baba has given to make you pure, follow Mama Baba, and then most important, Baba says, have yoga with me to become pure. Because Baba says, I am the purifier. And when you understand that you are a soul and I am yours and nobody else is yours, mine is one Shiv Baba and none other, then you have Buddhi Yoga with me. And Baba says, the law of yoga is that you become like the one you have yoga with. Yes, and that is why when people had yoga with bhagats and sannyasis, they became like them. Yes, so whoever you have yoga with, you will become like them. And Baba says, I am the ocean of purity, and when you have yoga with me, then you will become pure. So Baba tells us that I am the only one who teaches you divine manners of purity. Nobody else can make you pure. And then Baba also tells us something very interesting. Baba says, I am pure in an unlimited way. I am ever pure. But your drama is not to become ever pure. Yes, but your drama is to become pure for 21 births. So Baba says, if you follow my directions, then you will become pure for 21 births. And Baba says, if you became ever pure, then the drama wouldn't exist. Because the drama is that, you change from pure to impure and then I again come and purify you. So this is the drama. The drama is made of light and darkness. So that is why Baba says, it is not possible, it is not the law that you become ever pure. Yes, so because, Baba says that according to the law of the drama, you will become pure for maximum 21 births. So there's a limit to you becoming pure. And I am ever pure. I am pure in an unlimited way. That is why Baba says, I am the ocean of purity. You cannot become the ocean. You will become the master ocean. And then, you will deplete yourself. That is the drama. So these are also very interesting truths and interesting laws of the drama that Baba makes us aware of. And Baba says that now I tell you to turn your faces away from the old world and imbibe divine virtues. And then Baba also tells us that if you imbibe the virtue of purity, then all other virtues will follow. Yes. So have you noticed that when you remember Baba, when you remember your new world, when you remember your sweet home, when you sit in remembrance of Baba and purify yourself, when you follow Mama Baba, then you not only become pure, but you imbibe every virtue. whether it's sweetness, whether it's tolerance, whether it's patience, whether it's whether it's any kind of virtue. Baba says every virtue you will imbibe when you imbibe this one virtue of purity. Just like, when with one vice, every vice is attracted. Yes, so have you seen that, I'll give you one example. So there's this story that, there was this one sadhu, and this sadhu, he was on his path of tapasya and leading a very ascetic life. And then one day he had a desire that I want to drink hot milk. Yes, so he had this desire that, I'm getting weak and I must have milk to drink. And then he lived in the mountain, in the hills, so there were no cows there. So then he thought, let me get a cow from the village which is down below. So then he went to the village and he bought a cow. And then he understood that, just because of having a cow, he is not able to meditate, because that cow needs constant care and attention. So then, somebody suggested that you are an ascetic and you have no business, you're not involved in mundane business. So have a lady who will take care of the cow and then she will serve you with milk from the cow, and then you can concentrate on a tapasya. And then he got a lady from the village, and then that lady and the cow lived, and then slowly, gradually, there was a whole family set up there on the hill. And then later, they shifted to the village itself, and then there was no ascetic left. So you see, it all started with one small desire. So one desire, and then everything is lost. So one vice will attract all vices. That's the law. So, sometimes when Kumars and Kumaris, they say, we don't want to get married or anything, but we want to earn our money and, we want to be independent, then we know that is Maya talking. Because, one vice will lead to another. And then slowly, gradually, all the Kumari Jivan will be finished. So Baba says that, don't have any kind of it. So you may go to work, but, don't get attached to the work also. Don't get attached to anyone and anything. And Baba says that, if it makes a difference whether you're working or not working, then that's a problem. So you shouldn't be caught up in anything. So, when you're not caught up, the sign of not being caught up is it doesn't matter. And when it matters, when work matters, when anything matters, when you are attached to anything, then it becomes a source of all other vices also. So Baba says here also, once you embrace purity, then this purity will make you attract all virtues. Okay, Om Shanti. Let's, so whatever anybody wants to share, please do. Okay.
Om Shanti, Didi.
Om Shanti.
Before coming to Baba, we never knew that we can have such a high aim of having divine virtues.
Correct.
So only after coming to Baba, we knew that if Baba can have this confidence in us that we can attain such a state, then we should have confidence in ourselves and try to do Purusharth and attain that state.
Correct. Thank you. Om Shanti. Yes, anybody else wants to share anything? Is that all? Yes. Okay. Then let's thank Baba for some time. Hanji, Om Shanti, Nirmal Bhai.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti.
Baba said that we have to, one of the Srimati he has given, that we have to go away from the old world, and our vision should be to the
Correct.
father and the land of peace. That is an important aspect. And the other one, he said, the purity is a mother of all virtues and the human manners. You develop the manners from that.
Correct.
Even yesterday's Murali, Object Murali, Baba said, now you are the children of God and you receive the God's love, and therefore you have to be in a constant state.
Correct.
And then you have to have a complete purity.
Correct.
When you have complete purity, you don't receive any waste thoughts or impure thoughts, because these are the things. Impurity is number one, about not to get the purity.
Yes.
And therefore that is the other one. And Baba said, at the moment the world is covered with sorrow and peacelessness. And now you have to become like the Father, and you have to give purity and also the happiness.
Correct.
And as an Almighty Father, we are getting the powers from the Father.
Yes.
Then we have to be powerful and give the powers to the souls who are thirsty for powers or weakness. They are weakness.
Correct.
Therefore, that's the one Baba said. These are the things very much interested me. Om
Okay.
Shanti.
Om Shanti. Yes, Menka Ben.
Shanti Didi.
Om Shanti.
So in this world, I realize that your buddhi being attracted to vices is the most normalized thing. Like if you're not, if your buddhi is not attracted to vices, then you're considered abnormal actually.
Correct.
And that is why like even whether sadhus or nuns or anyone is encouraged, because they think it's not doable. And so this is a very I find that it's a very deeply rooted belief that
Yes.
we have, that has been conditioned into us.
Yes.
And today Baba is saying that is the biggest thing to break off from, that your buddhi does not have to be attracted to these. And that he doesn't say that, he never says create these beliefs. He just says remember, just remember. So it again emphasizes that we have it within us, that it's the most normal thing to not be attracted to vices but to be virtuous.
Yes.
So thank you again, Baba.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for sharing. Om Shanti.